We've brought on Brown University professor of international political economy, Mark Blyth, our friend here on the Inside Track. Mark, good to see you. I know you are not shocked one bit that investors' honeymoon with Mario Monti seems to be over.
I think that every time we talk at the end of the week and things seem okay, and then we talk at the beginning of the week and we're back to where we were before. So in a sense, plus ça change, as the French say. So no, I'm not surprised at all. What I am surprised is the attitude that we have that somehow one guy being parachuted in with some experience from the ECB is magically going to restore confidence in an economy, when fundamentally they're not facing a confidence problem, they're facing a liquidity problem. And the way you solve that is by having a lender of last resort, and that's what the ECB doesn't want to do. So in a sense, we're kind of looking over at one side because the new guys walked on stage without really paying attention to everything else that's going on.
At least 5 governments and leaders have fallen victim to this European sovereign debt crisis. Are there going to be more, and who's next?
I think there's a big difference between Italy and Greece. Let's just do the comparison there. Greece is insolvent. Putting a new guy in charge there is a bit like ramming the Titanic into the iceberg and then saying we need a new captain 5 minutes after the fact. It's not going to do any good whatsoever. Italy doesn't have a solvency problem. It has a rollover risk and liquidity problem. The fundamentals in the Italian economy, if you look at northern Italy in particular, they're just as competitive and export-oriented as the Germans, for example. And although they certainly have their problems, let's remember that 5 or 6 years ago, even 3 or 4 years ago, no one cared about Italy's debt load because its private sector debt load is actually quite small. So I think the fundamentals here are very, very different. We need to keep that in mind.
Mark, do we need to start worrying about France next?
We need to worry about contagion because, as we've had this conversation before, this is ultimately about the safety and security of the European banks, which are dangerously over-levered and are operating in an environment of anemic growth. So if the solution is these countries need to have technocrats who are going to come in and do swinging cuts, what's going to happen in the short to medium term is growth is going to become even more anemic. As such, the bank's balance sheets will become even more impaired. And the reason we worry about sovereigns is their ability to bail their banks, not because of the solvency of the sovereign itself. So when you keep your eye on the real target here, which is the European banking system, that's where we need to worry. We don't have to worry about France's AAA because France can't pay the bills. We have to worry about France's AAA in case they can't bail Soc Gen.
All right, Mark Blyth, always great to talk to you, professor of international and political economy at Brown University.